And welcome to Local Talk here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Nextdoor Radio app. In our studio today, recorded presentation at this time, we have Miss Lynn Brysucker, who is with Granville County Veteran Affairs Committee. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine, Trey. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. Right now, we know it's a very busy time for you because you do have the 8th Annual Veterans Appreciation, which Veterans Voices Letters Home. And I do have a press release that I would love to kind of read from it for just a little bit if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
Once again, the Granville County Veterans Affairs Committee will be hosting its annual Veterans Appreciation event to say thank you to those who have served. It is scheduled for Saturday, March 11th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Granville County Expo and Convention Center on Highway 15 south of Oxford. Guests will have an opportunity to visit displays by the area agencies and organizations offered resources to area veterans. Again, the program begins at 2 p.m. and will be followed by refreshments. So again, before we kind of dive deep into what all that means, let's really introduce you as only you could. Who is Miss Lynn?
I am one of 13 or 14 volunteer members of the Veterans Affairs Committee here in Granville County. And it's a group that I'm very proud to represent. Being the event chair, as you said, can get a little hairy this time around. But we've done it 8 years in a row. So we're very proud to do it. We're very happy to do it. And it's our way to say thank you to the Granville County veterans. They're an important group to us, in excess of 4,000 that live here in this county. Wow. I've been with the committee for several years, and I can tell you that it's probably one of the best functioning committees that I've ever been on. We actually get things done, and it's very productive. But everything we do for the veterans, and that's what's important to me. My husband is a veteran, and I have a military history in my family as well, so it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart.
Again, Ms. Lynn Brysucker joins us here by way of our Local Talk recorded presentation at this time. Of course, she's the chair with the Granville County Veterans Affairs Committee, and this is the 8th Annual Veterans Appreciation coming up on Saturday, March 11th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The doors will open at 1 p.m. So you said this is the 8th Annual Veterans Appreciation. I want to go back to the beginning, if you can, real quick. Talk a little bit about that. What was one of the reasons why, again, you became a committee back, 10 years ago now? This is the 10-year anniversary?
Right, it is. The county commissioners founded us in 2013 as a way to reach out to the veterans in the county and try to figure out what their needs were and address those needs as best we could as volunteers. And we represent the entire county. And it originally, because it was a new committee, the first year or two, they were sort of like meet and greets. They weren't real formal programs as such. But then 8 years, well, actually a little more than 8 years. We actually skipped a year because of COVID, like a lot of people did. So we had to leapfrog that year. But we decided we needed something a little more tangible and a little more noticeable for the veterans, where we could get them all together and say thank you in one way or another. So that's how it all started. It started out kind of small, and we've grown from there. So every year we have highlighted a decade of service, and started out obviously with the World War I era, although we didn't have very many World War I veterans left at that point. But we've spanned the decades, and now we've run out of decades. So we started coming up with topics for the programs. Last year, we did a salute to women in service, and that was amazingly accepted. And something else that we tried new last year was inviting these agencies and organizations in to share their resources and their information with the veterans in our county. Every one of those organizations that came last year, when we finished, said, please ask us back next year, because they really enjoyed talking with the veterans one-on-one, face-to-face. So this year we'll have the library, the museum. The VA is sending representatives from 4 different departments within the VA. Vance Granville Community College, NC Works, OKT Farms, and if I'm forgetting anybody, forgive me. I don't have my list right in front of me. So we've kind of covered the gamut, from benefits to education to employment, and of course the VA also represents health services as well. So it's always amazing to me to see the displays that these folks set up. They bring all kinds of brochures and pamphlets and giveaways, and it makes it really interesting for the folks to come in early. Then we'll usher them all into the auditorium at the Expo Center. And this year we're really excited. For a number of years, we've talked about how to get the youth involved. That old saying of, if you don't remember history, you're doomed to relive it, kind of echoes in the backs of our minds. And you want to make sure that the young people realize exactly what it is or what it was to serve. Trying to find a common thread all the way through. As we brainstormed, we said, well, how about when the soldiers, sailors, Marines, whatever, write letters home? Every single one of them did, regardless if it was the Civil War, World War I, Korea, Vietnam, all the way through. It could be anything from writing with a tiny little stub of a pencil on a scrap of paper that a soldier found in the Civil War, all the way up to Skype or FaceTime or phone calls now, through the War on Terror and all of the peacekeepers and the troops that we have stationed throughout the world. The common thread is they want to talk to folks at home. They want to get letters from folks at home. It cures the monotony. It sort of allays the fears a little bit, and it's happened throughout. So we're really excited that we'll have the JROTC from Webb High School, Colonel Skip Lewis and his group. Some of them are actually going to be reading some of those letters. That will be our program. And when you think about it, these are youngsters, freshmen through seniors. They're not that much younger than some of these servicemen and women who served when they went in at 18 or 20 or 21. So we've made that connection. Your first time away from home, maybe your first time out of country, the loneliness, the fear, the doubts, what's going on at home. It was common through the whole thing as we did the research. So it was really interesting. And I've heard just a little bit of it in rehearsals, and the kids are great with it. They really are.
That's good because you never know. But one of the questions I was going to ask: have you been able to see some of these letters that they're going to be able to read?
Yeah, we gathered a certain group of the letters prior to. We actually did the selection to make sure that there was representation from Civil War all the way through the present. So we kind of tried to keep that common thread. Like I said, I've heard some of them. I'm going to hear some more this afternoon at another rehearsal, so I'm really looking forward to it. They're asking great questions, and it's prompting Colonel Lewis and I both to kind of help them understand where some of these feelings are coming from. So it's really interesting.
And to me, that's extremely important. Because you can just read, like I just read you, one of the reasons why I did that, because I knew we were going to talk about these letters. Because you can just read down a list and really not know what it really means. But to have the relationship behind the emotional side. Yeah. I mean, because it can be good, it can be bad, or it can be ugly. You never know what you're going to receive. And I think that's fascinating, especially to get high school kids. Because I was in all 4 years of JRTC back in Clayton High School.
Oh, good for you.
Absolutely loved it. The only reason why I didn't go to the military, because they said I was too tall to be a fire pilot. Only reason why I didn't go. Found out that wasn't true at all. So there you go.
You wanted to be a Top Gun. Huh?
I wanted to be the big guy. I wanted to be that guy. That's right. But again, I loved it. And that's really the only reason I was able to get through high school. Of course, I ran track in college, but I absolutely loved it. So having a program like this, something that I was never able to be a part of, I think that's fascinating. It's good for you guys to get the kids involved as well.
And we have always had a JROTC unit from a number of the different high schools to do the usual presentation of colors. And then we also do a salute to each of the military branches. We play the anthem. The flag is brought in. Anybody who served in that particular branch is asked to stand. Some of them sing the anthems. They know them word for word, which is great. We don't mind that at all. So all in all, it's our biggest way of saying thank you to the veterans.
Again, Ms. Lynn Bryce, Argos Orange is here by way of our local talk recorder presentation at this time. Of course, she is with the Granville County Veteran Affairs Committee, and this is the coming up on March 11th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The doors open at 1 p.m. for the 8th Annual Veterans Appreciation. Of course, you mentioned where my eyes got really big when they talked about food. Of course, Family Diner will be there once again. So talk a little bit more about the kind of presentation and what can they expect once they get there.
Well, as I said, when the doors open at 1, our guests are free to roam all through the various displays and the information that these groups have to offer. We also wind up seeing a lot of people who may have not seen each other since the last time. Wow. So we have little groups of conversations going on, and people who belong to similar groups and that sort of thing. Lots of folks come in wearing their service caps, T-shirts, jackets. If you're coming, please feel free to do that. If you can still fit in your uniform, feel free to do that too. We have some that do that. And there will be, like I said, the presentation of colors, the usual welcomes from our local officials. We also do the tribute to the POW MIA. We always include that and do the formal ceremony for that in the program. We do the Armed Forces Salute. And then we always honor the oldest veteran there and the youngest veteran there. And then we'll do our speakers, or our letter readers, as I should call them, this year, and they'll be recognized as well. We're also going to do some special recognitions for some groups here in the county that have supported us through all 10 of our years, long overdue in some cases. And that's basically it. Like I said, we try to make it real informal, and we try to keep everybody's interest. We try to make sure we don't forget anybody. If we do, we apologize, and we try to do it better the next time.
There you go. Ms. Lynn, thank you so much for coming in. Fascinating what you guys are doing against the 8th Annual Veterans Appreciation coming up this Saturday, March 11th at the Granville County Expo and Convention Center. Doors open at 1 p.m. The program will start at 2 and end at 4 p.m., of course, followed by some refreshments and food from the Family Diner.
Always good food, and that's always a draw for everybody.
Always. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much for coming in today. I've had a blast getting to know you, getting to know your background story, and everything that goes on with this appreciation. So thank you very much, okay?
Well, and we thank you for giving us the time and spreading the word to even more veterans here in our county. That's what's important to us.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Trey Stein. On behalf of our Local Talk program, this flyer and press release will be on our website at nextdoorradio.com with this audio as well. But once again, the 8th Annual Veterans Appreciation coming up on Saturday, March 11th at the Granville County Expo and Convention Center, which is 4185 U.S. Highway 15 South in Oxford. More information, of course, you can contact the event chair, Ms. Lynn, at 919-339-8352, or the Granville County Veterans Service Officer at 919-693-1484. Until next time, God bless. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do here on Next Door Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Next Door Radio app. We'll see you later.